I gather that we're sending in. I need to send in both the lieu tax notice and the habeas corpus.
Yeah, you need to address the habeas corpus. We might have to have this habeas corpus also directed to the chief judge in an admiralty case with the Article 3 judge. Okay?
Okay. Do we do that by just sending the chief judge a copy or add him to
Well, we might have to put it into a sort of a court case filing.
Okay.
With that circuit. Okay? With that district.
Okay. Now, I saw you made the minor change in changing it from the proprietary private enterprise state to the free enterprise e-state. So
right.
I should go back.
Well,
yeah, it's just a real minor difference. So I guess I should go back and put that.
It's basically, I said Godfather Divine e-state. Okay. And then I said down below, a United States private enterprise free state. Didn't I? I forget exactly how I had it. But basically, they both mean the same thing. Okay? We have to come in as a free state that we're freeing up our slaves. Still there, Tom?
I got disconnected. I'm back.
Okay. Yeah, it does make it differ whether you say e-state or enterprise state. Okay?
Okay.
They both mean the same thing. That's what an estate, e-state, is all about, is an enterprise state.
Okay, so it's just a shorthand way of putting it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I tried to explain that to you before, okay?
Okay.
The E stands for enterprise.
Oh,
so they shortened it down.
Right. Got it. Okay. So I got 21 items in my manifest. And what it amounts to, it's in Nebraska. I added three property titles and 4 cases of the county court, and I had driver's licenses in 3 states and voter cards and 1 vehicle title, so it came up to 21. But I have no real questions about it. I do like the phrasing down at the bottom where it says, we may have more. This is to help you start tracking this down. I like that.
Yeah, this is ground, basically the main item, but and then see also you can go into a couple other definitions there. Okay, you got a habeas corpus, but that habeas corpus ad respondum, basically that's or respondum. Okay, ad respondum.
Respondendum is what the
word. Whatever the hell. Okay.
Even though I can't spell habeas right, I did get that right.
Okay, a writ of habeas corpus, which issues where one has a claim against another.
Yes.
Okay, and we have a claim against basically the one that they set up as a bankrupt. And then these inferior courts, this bankrupt court, and even the bankruptcy court in the process, these are not actual courts per se. They're not official courts of office, okay? They are a place, okay? They are a place of trust court. Okay? Because they're ineligible for a public office. You read place of trust or profit, a term comprehensive in the broad sense of public officers fiduciaries, even corporate officers, by having a particular application in reference to ineligibility for a public office, a position which, although not a public office, occupies the same level in dignity and in importance. But it's just a place of trust. They're not actually a valid court.
Right. They have certain responsibilities, but it's not official.
Right. And they are holding our assets in trust, okay,
right,
as a place, okay? It's not even a true trust, really. And they're called placemen, okay? A person for the time in serving the state in the performance of a duty required of him as a citizen, such as a juror, election inspector, although not in the capacity of a public officer. And see, an officer, the members of the legislature are not officers. Those U.S. attorneys are not officers. They are only placemen.
Wow.
They're holding a place of trust because they can't be an official officer because they have a bar card. That bars them from being an officer.
Wow, that really does flesh out the meaning of the inferior court.
Yes.
Maybe BAR stands for beneficiaries, agents registered.
Well, something along that lines, yeah.
They should be, anyways.
Banking authorized representatives is all they really are.
Yeah, I like
really.
that one.
Yeah, maritime banking authorized representatives. And then they're holding all of our cargo behind bars. In a prison, basically, in a sense. They're not releasing it the way they're supposed to. I got a call yesterday from the local sheriff here that the postal inspector still wanted to see me. So I went in there today at 10, met with the postal inspector, and basically also two U.S. Marshals. One of the U.S. Marshals I'd met with before outside the bankruptcy court, and then also later on when I sent a letter into the bankruptcy judge and used the word FWCK. And basically, from that meeting, said, well, back off, and we won't proceed to prosecute you. Well, basically, here I am, and the postal inspector comes in there, got a 4-inch thick white binder with a whole bunch of my letters and everything that I sent into the local court, to the bankruptcy court, to the court of district court, and numerous other ones. And another smaller binder of the ones to where I used that prepaid statement and put a permit number on there and tried to send those strings to the mail. And they said they didn't go through. I said, well, why didn't you send them back and tell me I need to put postage on them? What's the deal here? Said you took them. Basically, that means you took them. You didn't respond back in 3 days, so basically, you're the one that's liable.
No.
I didn't give them any slack, okay? Because I know where in the hell I stand. They tried to intimidate me again. I said, you're trying to intimidate me to back off. I said, I have every right to come forward. I said, I've made mistakes. along the way. And I have a right to try and correct my mistakes as I go. Well, you're doing paper terrorism. I said, that's bullshit. I stand in admiralty.
That was probably new
See,
to
if
them.
they wanted to arrest me, they would have arrested me. They can't arrest me. That's the kicker. They can only threaten and intimidate you. Otherwise, they're in total violation of the Constitution. And they know damn well what the hell I'm talking about in that regards. Of course, they didn't know about a congressman, that a congressman and all these senators out here, people don't even know how to read the Constitution because it says an inhabitant. And they don't know what the word inhabitant means. That means you are a household member or an office holder of the household.
Mm-hmm.
You can't hold and be an inhabitant when you're running for the Senate or for the House of Representatives. That means you have to sit out one term of office in between each election. You can't even be the governor of the state and run for senator. You have to renounce the governorship, be back as a resident, then you can run for senator. But you can't run, you can't use that state government office to try and get into that other office. That was a check and balance scenario there to keep the government officials from basically being controlled by the bankers. But people don't see that. Now, if somebody is in office after the first term and they haven't set out anything, they're in violation of the Constitution. Therefore, that means that all their votes during that time frame after the first term are null and void. They're in fraud. They should be all in jail because they're defrauding the people per the Constitution. You can file that one with your state Supreme Court because they're a state officer, the U.S. Senator and the U.S. House of Representatives. They represent the state. They don't represent the United States. They represent the state that they came from. So they're perpetrating a fraud upon the people of the state. Now, a couple other things to think about. Place of trust. That bankruptcy court is a place of trust. Okay? They also use it as a place of profit for the government side, too. They're the ones that are getting the benefit, not us. Now, you have place. Next, going down the line, you come across placer. Placer claim, a mining claim covering property where the valuable material is found not in veins, modes, or ledges within the rock, but in the loose condition in the soft minerals making up the surface of the earth. That's where our assets are, they've already been mined, so they're just laying loosely. So they have a placer claim against our assets. Also, claim jumping comes into play. We have to place a claim notice out here that is our claim. You can look up that one in the dictionary. Principal place of business. Okay? Breach of trust. Holder in due course. Bona fide possessor. We are not the holder in due course. The bankruptcy court and the U.S. trustee and the U.S. attorneys are the holders in due course of our assets. They try and get us to say that we're the holders of those assets. No, we don't have them. Just like I told the U.S. Marshal, I said, I will be submitting more stuff in. I said, you do what you want to. Take me to court. I said, if that's the only way I can get to court, I'll gladly go that route. But you're not wanting me to get into that court. But if that's what it takes, I'll go that route. But I'm not giving up. I know where in the hell I'm at. We're right on target on this damn thing now. And they've had a whole bunch of different things hiding this thing away from us. And then deceptiveness out here. Told that postal inspector about the DD 214. I said, here, take a look at it. Pull it up in Title 46. USC Title 46, Chapter 73. I said, it's right there. They moved it out of one of the other chapters, or one of the other volumes. I think it was 38 or 31 or something. I forget which one. Talking about land. That's where the military bounty lands were at one point in time. And they moved them out of there into Title 46. I said also, Title 46, Chapter 573 is where, basically at the age of 25, our vessels were supposed to be returned to us intact with our assets. Because we were supposed to be a free man at that point in time. I also laid on to them about America and about Admiralty. The first 4 letters in America and the first 5 letters in Admiralty. I said, that stands for Prince. There is no king or queen in America, but there are a bunch of princes here. And this dates all the way back to the Phoenicians time frame that came in after the Babylonians. The Emir that came in, okay? That's a Phoenician word. At least that's what the dictionary says it was.
Mm-hmm.
Bona fide possessor. A person who is in possession of property and is ignorant of all the facts and circumstances relating to his adversary title. Well, that fits those damn nitwits up there at the bankruptcy court that they have no earthly idea what the shit they're doing. that we may have to take it into the federal court and get a court case on that and use the habeas corpus ad respondum in the process to bring it in from those inferior courts into this higher court, to a real Article III court. Bring it out of the maritime court system into the admiralty court system. When you stand up, basically their courts in maritime have no jurisdiction over you when you claim you're in admiralty. I even gave a copy of my identification card to the U.S. Marshals. I said, here, you take this and post it. Put it in your records. That's who I am. Now you've been informed. Said, I can make up more of those. I got an extra one right here, a hard copy. Better than that one. Right here in my duffel bag. Postal inspector trying to accuse me of defrauding the mail system. I said, oh, wait a minute. Pulled out, and I had receipts there also that I put in the bankruptcy. They said, you're filing fraudulent V10s. I said, that's bullshit. I said, that's fraudulent. It's right here. $500,000 to fine. How come you're not charging me $500,000 then? Oh, well, we're being Mr. Nice Guy. That's bullshit. They didn't have a right to stand on. I said, everything is basically prepaid. You've taken the money away from us, so basically you're using our stuff. Said, well, the postal system, a non-for-profit organization. I said, that's bullshit. The post office is a non-for-profit organization, but the postal system is not. Said, that's a maritime corporation. I said, you don't even know who's paying your damn salary. I said, you filled out a W-4 form, and you're allowing them to use your assets to pay your salary. They're writing bonds against your assets to turn around and get the interest off the bond to turn around and pay you. Well, I'm totally over their head, but basically, hopefully they got it all down on recording so that they can listen to this stuff over a few more times over. I said, penalty envelopes. I said, I pulled a bunch of those out of my briefcase. I said, here, this is total fraud right here. Guy tries to give me the song and dance. Well, that's if Susie Q, that's working for the post office, puts her private stuff into that envelope and sends it out. I said, that's total bullshit. That's not what that is for at all. That envelope is coming out all capital letters to my address. If I open it up, I'm opening it up and I am taking it into the private. Now they can turn around and charge that $300 against my account. That's what they're doing.
That's what they mean by it? Wow.
Yes, they've been, every time they send one of those envelopes out and you open it up, you basically they're charging your account $300. Wow.
So that's why we're asking for it back. Great.
That's why we're trying to get it back.
Right, but I was trying to understand how it was owed to us. That makes perfect sense.
Everything is owed to us.
Yeah.
They've been using our assets every which stitch way out here possible. They have no assets. So they've got to use ours. They're the bloodsuckers, the vampires.
Mm-hmm.
The claim jumpers. They're jumping our claim of our inheritance and trying to take it away from us. So they're claim jumpers. They're claiming it's theirs when it's not theirs. I said I took out 2 payments on Social Security. I said I stopped it because I knew what the hell was going on. That basically they were turning around, and for a payment, they would turn around and write bonds and put the country further into debt. I said I wasn't going to do that. I said I'm an American, and I'm going to stand up and defend America. I don't know what the hell you guys are doing, but I'm going to defend America. Said I've been operating in honor, and I have gotten no honor and no respect from anybody on the other side of the fence whatsoever. Said you take and you get something, you've got 3 days to respond back on it. Everything's commercial. I said that B-10 form is a commercial lien. That's the highest lien there is out there in their system, a commercial lien. And that's what a B-10 is. You're putting a claim in, a commercial claim, a commercial lien. And then you're giving them notice when the bankruptcy court sends out that notice to them. That's a notice of lien. Not notice of claim, but notice of lien. That if they don't respond, then basically, in the time frame, then the claim will be solidified against them. See, this is what the IRS can't do. All they can do is threaten, intimidate, and send out these notice of liens. But they can never perfect the liens. Because they don't have a lawful claim in the process. Because the claim is really against the trustee who's working on their side of the fence. It's not against you. It's against the trustee that basically is holding your assets in trust. I explained to him about the monetary system. I said, basically, back in 1969, I made $2.25 an hour, but that was in silver. I say, at today's rate, you would have to be making $40 an hour to make what I was making back in 1969 for that $2.25. And I said, I don't think there's too many people that are making that today.
Especially then.
I said, the automobile is still the same price. The commodities are still the same price. Oil's still the same price. Maybe a little cheaper. Because at $2 a gallon, present time, that's only about 15 cents. Well, maybe about, 32 cents, somewhere in that area. No, that's not right. 17 into $1 would be roughly about 7. So roughly about 15 cents a gallon.
Okay.
But the automobile, $2,500 automobile back in 1960, is still a $2,500 automobile in silver today, even though it's sitting up around $30,000 in Federal Reserve dollars, or $40,000, whatever. I told them about the check that you go into the bank with. Said you write down where behind the dollar sign, that is in Federal Reserve dollars. The line in the middle to where you have it, and you have dollar, D-O-L-L-A-R, behind that, that's in silver. The bank is taking like 100 silver dollars of yours, leaning them up, and giving you one Federal Reserve dollar in exchangement. I showed him the traffic ticket. I said, this is the same damn thing here. All these things over here, the charges are all in dollar signs. But the appearance bond down here is in D-O-L-L-A-R-S. That's in silver. Said that gives them the authorization to basically put a lien against that amount of silver in our account and write bonds against it. I said, we're supposed to be the insured in this country, and that bond, that insurance policy, is supposed to pay for those charges. I hope you guys are following this.
Yeah.
Because this is what people don't fully understand. Until you can basically stand up to these guys, and basically like for 2 hours there, and I was trying to educate them. I said, I'm trying to educate you guys, whether you get anything out of this or not. Because I know where in the hell I stand, and I know that you guys don't have a leg to stand on to come after me. I was hoping the sheriff was going to be in the meeting, but he didn't sit in on this meeting. It was a 2-hour meeting, right at 2 hours. And all they wanted to try and do was intimidate me to stop filing this stuff in. And I said, hell, you don't even have half the shit that I submitted in. I said, you don't have the United States Court of Claims, the United States International Court of Claims, the Supreme Court, the Circuit Court, the Court of Appeals. You don't have any of those. You don't have any of the Secretary of State or the Attorney General or half the shit that I sent into the Treasurer. So if you want, you can come out to my house and I'll give you a download of all the damn files that I've got. And I said, I also revoke all pledges and promises, whatever, on the 1099s under penalty of perjury. I said they're all revoked. Because I will not swear an oath anymore. That's totally against the Bible. You take no oath. Whether it's to a government or anything. Because they will try and use that against you any way possible if they can. I told them about the marriage. I said you had to be 1 year old. You have to be of royalty to be able to have a 1-year-old wedding. I said that goes back into history, way back. 9 months in the hopper, 3 months out. Then basically you're able to marry, have a royal wedding. And you marry the whore of Babylon. And in most cases, that's the state you're from. That becomes the mother vessel that produces the little bastard child. And then half the time they're throwing you in jail there because you're the father and you refuse to support the child. Well, you've got to get the mother to open up her purse, her depository, to make the payment because she's the one who's holding all the assets. You can't be afraid of these people. But you've got to know and basically talk this stuff over. The more you talk it over with other people that are willing to talk with you, the better off you are. The better off you hear and understand the thing, and then you get to thinking about it, and then you can put it into your own words. But if you don't do that, you're going to forget shit, Tom. Right?
Yep.
Yeah. And you do this constantly.
I know. I tried to fix it today. I wrote something up sort of along the lines of what you're doing, but it's nowhere near as good as what you've just done.
Yeah, and see, there are several things that basically I've gone over in the past, tried to explain it on the calls. And now all of a sudden I'm throwing it out at you again, and now you might hear it, but whether you retain it, that's the next thing, okay?
Yep.
You've got to talk this over. You've got to stop. People have to stop running all around the damn internet trying to check out codes and everything and learn the words. The answer is in the words. It's hidden in the Babel. And that goes all the way back to the Tower of Babel when they came down and started polluting the word communication between one person to another. Changing, modifying them, and trying to give them a new meaning to the word. And that confused the other side that was under the premonition that this word meant this, but now this guy over here is saying, no, it means this. And I said, that's all you're doing sitting there. I told that to the postal inspector. That's all you're doing is just babbling away. You don't even know what you're saying. I really didn't cut these guys much slack at all. I even told that U.S. Marshal, I said, basically, yeah, you told me before that if I submitted any more stuff, you were going to come after me. Well, how come you're not arresting me there? Because they can't. They can only threaten and intimidate me. And try and get me to back down. But I told them I ain't backing down. Come as it may, whether I live or die, I've got the knowledge now. I'll be ready for the next go-around. That's what a lot of people don't understand. There's more than one go-around in this damn process.
Well, it's a good signal that you're closing in to get that kind of reaction from them.
Yeah, well, I knew that before already, okay?
Yeah.
When they wouldn't arrest me before. They didn't have any grounds to arrest me. But now, in standing totally in admiralty, they definitely don't have any authority to arrest me. You can't arrest the royalty, the prince. You can't arrest the creator. The servants can't arrest the creator, the master. And see, that's what's scaring the living shit out of them, is that somebody's standing up to them. I told him, hell, you can go check out the damn website. I gave it to him again. I said, there's a bunch of audios on there. You can listen to me talk. If you find something that basically I'm doing wrong, you can basically charge me, and I don't think there's a damn thing you can charge me with. Or you can go there and you can try and learn. See, that's one of the big problems out here. 99% of the people are scared shitless from the damn government when we are the government. That's what people don't realize. We, the people, are the government. And I even pointed that out to them. And see, they didn't even know this stuff about that's in the Constitution. Said, yeah, you want mail fraud? Go after the damn representatives and senators that are basically in office there illegally. Because they can only be in there one term, then they have to sit out one term. And all these other places that are out here appearing to be an official office, but they're not an official office. Anybody that's got a bar card, they are only a placeholder. They're holding that place because nobody else is claiming that office. But they're holding it as a place of trust at the same time, and then they're also in breach of trust. See, that's what scares most of these damn judges and everything, is that they are writing on a very, very thin wire. And it can be used to cut their head off right now. When somebody stands up to them and calls their bluff. Okay, any questions?
How did it end?
Huh?
How did the meeting end?
I told you how it ended. They wanted me to back down. I said, hell no.
Okay.
Said, you can't force me to do that. Said, I will continue until basically I get my resolve. So if you want to feel like you want to come down and arrest me, come down and arrest me, because I'll gladly go into that court. Said, if that's the only way I can get in, come and arrest me and we'll go to court.
They probably hated that the
But
most.
I'm going in admiralty. And you better have a valid charge that I have harmed somebody, because that's the only way that they can charge you in admiralty, is if you have caused actual harm. Not this bogus slap on the hand type thing, paper terrorism type thing. That's all bullshit. How many people you got on there now, Tom?
5. You and I, too.
Okay. Anybody got any questions? Response, rebuttal?
No rebuttal. This is very much along the lines I was thinking today and tried to write up, but you made it much stronger.
Anybody else?
I can read what I wrote, and you can beat up on it if you want.
No. It's yes for you to do it.
Okay. Well, I've been through it a few times.
Read it out loud to yourself, okay?
I have.
You've got to be able to hear yourself. You just don't read it by sight. You have to read it out loud to yourself.
I'll do it
in
now.
some cases. I have to do that myself, and I find mistakes because it just doesn't flow right when I read it out loud. Where if I look at it, sometimes it seems like it's flowing right, but I just don't see it in the right retrospect.
Yeah, that's right. That's probably why I have to read things so many times before I really get the full impact of it. You're right. I should do a lot of things out loud.
Yes, and you also always have to check out the words. Don't take it for granted that you know exactly what that word means. I've said this numerous times over.
And you've really
that a
shown
word
us,
has more than one meaning.
and you've really shown us that, example after example.
Yeah. Okay, anybody else got any questions?
I guess not, but it was great to hear about that experience, Patrick. Thank you.
That's what you have to get to. You have to get to that point to where you're not intimidated by these guys.
Right.
And I had no problem in raising my voice, too. I didn't go totally overboard, but basically I let my voice be known so that the other people in the sheriff's office that might be able to hear through the door. I said I'd like to meet with you guys like this because when I start talking, basically I'm hoping you guys are listening and you might learn something.
Yeah, when's the next meeting?
I don't think there'll be a next meeting. Anyway, they got 2 hours of basically recording there to sit and listen to everything I said. So basically they ought to learn quite a bit.
Maybe they'll let us download it and put it on the site.
Huh?
Maybe they'll let us download it and put it on the site. That would sure be good.
Yeah, well, I thought I was going to have a copy of it, but basically my little recorder I didn't press the right buttons or something, so it didn't record it.
Too bad. That would have been great.
Well, not really. Basically, I said everything that I said right here.
Yeah. Was there much reaction to him except the occasional threat?
Well, from basically sort of blank stares on their face and not being able to rebut me.
Yep.
And like even when that postal inspector was trying to tell me, well, this is what that means. And I said, you're totally dead wrong on that. I said, what you're telling me is total bullshit. It makes no sense whatsoever. I said, here's the truth. And then I went through the dissertation about, basically, when I open up that envelope, it's addressed to the public, to the maritime person, but it's being sent to my address. So if I open it up, basically then that authorizes the damn trustee or whoever, the government organization, to turn around and file a $300 claim against my account.
Brilliant.
So that's really what's going on. It's all about money here in the maritime monetary system. I said there's not one corporation out here that basically has anything. They have to zero their books at the end of the year. Said, where do they get the money to start up with? I said even the postal system. Where do they get the money to start up? They need to borrow money, and they have to borrow from the Treasury. And whose Treasury is it? It's ours. It's we the people. It's not we the government, we the corporation. It's we the people's Treasury. And I told him about the Chief Justice Marshall's statement. And I said that we are a state. I said we became a state when we turned 25. Enterprise state, but we're still a state within this country. And as a state, we have the taxation, the power of taxation. And with that power, we also have the power to destroy. And I said I could destroy every damn corporation in this country if I wanted to. No response from them on that, but basically they couldn't respond to it because I was right.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't come back and say, well, you're threatening the government then. I was hoping they were going to say that. And I was going to say, yes, if you consider the American government a government, I'm threatening that government. I'm not threatening the de jure government, the constitutional government, but I'm threatening this bullshit government.
Yeah, the occupying financial army.
And how can you threaten a fiction anyway? Something that's already dead. You can't. Okay, no other questions from anybody else? Okay, call tonight, Tom.
Looks like. Thank you, Patrick. It was really very enlightening. Okay.
Good night.
Sure. Good night.